Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of GTV. And if you are new to this channel, we talk about business tips, freelancing tips. We also interview a lot of startup and entrepreneurs and marketers from all over the globe. So I am Ginger and I run this channel. So for today, we'll be talking about another business opportunity that you can get into, and we have a really special guest. This special guest is my dear friend RJ Ledesma. So I'll do a little bit of introduction to RJ. So RJ is a man of many hats as both an acclaimed host and entrepreneur. He's the host of Bright Ideas, a one-use Bloomberg TV Philippines show featuring startup businesses. He is also one of the hosts of CNN Philippines, Philippine Reality TV. After talking to OFWs and seeing they want to own a franchise, but not knowing how to do it while living abroad, he co-founded Easy Franchise, a company that helps bridge the gap between the franchisor and potential franchisee. The company also maximizes brand visibility and enables business expansion for different brands. As an entrepreneur, he is also co-founder of Mercato Central, the Philippines' largest night food market and food business incubator, and EnterPH, a business consultancy firm that specializes in investor relations and enterprise establishment. And please don't forget, before we start, please don't forget to click that like button, share, subscribe, and click on that notification bell to be notified for more videos like this. Hi, Arj! So, thank you again for joining me. This is your second time na in my channel. And, nako, I'm so thankful because I saw Easy Franchise, no? Baka you can tell us more about it, RJ.
Well, thanks so much, Ginger, again for having me on the show. It's always good to talk with a fellow startup entrepreneur over here. I think before I tell you about what Easy Franchise is, though, let me, just like any entrepreneur doing a startup, let's talk about pain points. What actually was my thought process in creating Easy Franchise.
Good business, good, sustainable, repeatable, expandable businesses ask themselves the question, what problem are you trying to solve? Kung naiirita ako sa isang bagay at ikaw rin naiirita ka sa bagay na yan, if I can solve my problem and your problem and everybody else who's irritated by the same problem, I will make money.
I'm an entrepreneur speaker. And a few years ago, I actually went to Dubai to speak on entrepreneurship. And when I went there to speak, I went together with the owner of a water refilling franchise. So as I was speaking over there, and after my turn was done and she spoke after me, I saw that there were so many OFWs over there who were hungry for a business to do. And so when I saw them over there, and it's because it's born out of many of them also, because sometimes when you're an OFW, you don't have access really to information about what are good franchises or what are good business opportunities back home. And more often than not, they're scammed. Many of the OFWs are, some of them are easy pickings for scams. So they were really hungry for opportunities. When the water refilling franchisor explained the opportunity, so many of the OFWs volunteered and said, yes, we want to get that franchise. But the second question which came up after that was done was that, they would ask, who will run that franchise for me while I'm still here in Dubai? Because, they're doing pretty well. Their contract's not yet up. But a common experience for anybody who has a franchise and they ask somebody else to run is that the person who runs it, they might make it their relative or their friend, and there might be a conflict of interest because they might not run the franchise business to the best of their ability. So it's always good to get a professional to manage that franchise business for them. That was the initial insight I had. At the same time, like for you, Ginger, before, if you want to buy a franchise, you'd have to, your only choice is that maybe separately you'd have to look at different websites to see what's the best franchise you can actually do in apples to apples comparison, or you'd have to go to, franchise fairs.
Yeah.
And if you go to franchise fairs, it's not, on that day there's so many being offered to you at the same time. You also don't know how to choose. And also if you're the franchise owner, parang I'm going to invest, I don't know, maybe for a day, invest maybe 50 to 60,000 pesos for a 2 to 3 day convention. How many people can you actually get? what if we were able to use that money differently and say, what if I do this online? If I participate online, where that money might be put to better use, where I can reach a larger audience, not just here in the Philippines, but abroad. So that really became the pain point or the irritation that led to the creation of what Easy Franchise is. Easy Franchise is your one-stop shop for all things franchising. So if you're somebody looking for that sort of business opportunity and you want to get into franchising, when you come to Easy Franchise, you can get a comparison across different types of franchise businesses that you might want to get into. You can compare and contrast the investment that you have to make, the return on investment, and what other things are involved in doing that, but all in one place. And instead of you having to submit documents separately, every time to submit, all these documents are already digitalized. So it's all online that you can do this one. So we actually speed up the process of you getting that franchise. We cut it into practically half by coming to our site. So really, it's the ease for both the franchisor, the person who owns the franchise, in looking for potential franchisees, and also the ease of potential franchisees to look for franchises in one place online. And that's really what it does. It makes it much easier for both people, for both parties involved.
Oh, thank you for that, RJ. That's pretty comprehensive, no? But I have a question. Like, my friend came to me recently. Like, that's true, no? Like, a lot of us know that we want to franchise. Like, some of the friends that I have, no, they know what they want to franchise, but they don't know what to franchise. So it's good that you have this side. So in terms of like the financial aspect, like how much do I put up so that I can franchise? Syempre, alam natin that you have to set aside money. Diba?
That's right. Okay. Now, the first thing I often tell people is, it's always good that when you put up a franchise, the money that you use for putting up that franchise, and this is just me, other people give different sets of advice, but then my advice is often that if it's coming from your own pocket, is that it has to be money that you've set aside for a rainy day, meaning don't put life savings into the franchise, don't put a big amount of money that you'll be needing. Maybe you put aside money for 6 months down the road, and you've set aside that money to put up that franchise for an investment. Then you can consider using that for the franchise business. And it also depends on what franchise you're looking to put up, diba? Is it going to be something? It has, number one, we often say it's something that you like, basically, something that maybe is in conformity or in line with either your interest or your passion. Just because, if you do sign a franchise contract, it's about at least 3 to 4 years. So it's got to be something that you like to do, that you're interested in, that you're willing to go through the good times and bad times with it. Because the nice thing about franchising, is that, of course, when you get a franchise, we often say that there's a 90% success rate in getting a franchise. And that's just not coming from me. That's from the Philippine Franchise Association. They say that because when they put up the franchise, it's the franchise owner already went through a lot of trial and error before he put up the franchising, diba? So he's written the franchise operations manual, the marketing, and everything else before he hands it over to you. And before he actually says, okay, you're good to take the franchise, he'll also visit the site to make sure that it's a potentially good site for you to put that franchise. So you just have to choose well, but make sure also that you save enough money to put it up. There are two types, basically, Ginger. Depending on what you want to do, you might ask what budget. There are some franchises which can be as low as maybe 100,000 pesos. But these are usually what we call the virtual or yung mga e-franchises, which don't require, let's say, a physical setup.
Yeah.
It's really, there are different franchise models nowadays, diba? The type of franchise model where you get the complete equipment and then, to set up a franchise. Let's say you get a potato corner. When you invest in that, well, that includes also, of course, the stand, the equipment, and everything. Fryer. There are some which are e-franchises, which are just basically, you're just a distributor, really, an online distributor in a geographic area that you want to get. And usually for these franchises, which are 100,000 and less, they don't require any franchise management coming from us, because it's an option for us. But one of the value added that you do working together with us is that we're addressing one of your pain points, that I want the franchise, but I don't have the time to run it, or I'm not physically present to run it. So we offer professional franchise management services. But there are some people, they opt to run it themselves, which is perfectly fine, and they don't want to spend a lot on it. So those are the franchises which are about 100,000 pesos or less. The ones which can cost a bit more, maybe you can go up to mga 500,000 pesos, is maybe this type na mga Mr. Donut franchises, or a potato corner, or what I call right now, or the milk tea franchises, no?
Yeah.
One of the bigger trends kasi nowadays, what we saw coming out of this crisis is that it's the essential franchises which people like. So you know what were the essential goods during the crisis, during this pandemic? These are what people are actually. These are actually the franchises which are growing exponentially. What are they? Number one, of course, water refilling, laundry, anything that was, and especially if these are located close to the community. These are the ones that are essential, because people weren't leaving their homes; they were cooking more often from their house, and because of that, many of the chores they've had to outsource because there's a lot more work, diba? So, like I said, now going back, you've got water refilling, laundry, LPG has become an essential franchise as well. You know, because people are cooking more at home. Convenience store franchise, especially more smaller type of franchise models for convenience stores, are coming up at the same time. And milk tea surprisingly became a very popular franchise. Why? Because during the crisis, people perceived it as an essential because apart from what we learned, it was like the idea that it provided them a sense of normalcy during this particular crisis. Parang, it felt like, kahit papaano, it's my break from all this, and people would get this one. But what's important also when you choose the franchise nowadays, that franchise also has already pivoted to doing e-commerce, meaning that they when you talk to the franchisor, they're able to give, they're able to provide you, okay, we're online, you can do some e-commerce, you can get people to order from you online. These type of things are very essential. So like for the laundry, there's actually laundry for lavado, which we have. They can actually pick up the laundry from your house and wash it and bring it back to your place. LPG, it's very accessible. It's nearby. So I mean, these are the type of things that you want to look into, especially now.
So it was actually related to my next question, RJ, because before, like when you want to franchise, you'd look for a location. Is that still a thing right now?
It goes two ways, basically. There are some franchises which have location. They say either some franchises will tell you, okay, we don't have any franchisees in Quezon City, in general Quezon City. So you can be the one to offer locations to them. Or they say, okay, other franchisors have already identified specific areas in let's say QC or whatever, they're limited slots, you choose them. Or some franchisors, because of this crisis, some franchisees have given back their franchise to the main franchisor. And you can buy it, you can be the one to just take over that franchise for them. Or you can also offer a specific location to a franchisor for his consideration as well. And the reason for that one is because, of course, the job of the franchisor in terms of business development and strategy, they sort of already kind of know, okay, these are areas which are good because they study the location. Before they study, of course, the foot traffic, but now they're looking for, is it a high density residential area, or the other franchises in that location. So those are the type of considerations which they make.
So in terms of like measuring things talaga, things have changed now. It's more of like, is this located near communities that are active?
Yes. Exactly. Very strongly right now.
Yeah. So in terms of management, RJ, you mentioned management now. So do you help them look for a location? And what's the extent of management? And do they pay for this? Do they have additional
we can help them look for a location as well if they choose for us. Because usually when people come to us, it's two. So we can either look for the location for them if let's say they're out of the country. We can then say we need your help looking for a location. We can work on that one. We talk to malls, retail establishments, condominium units, or villages to help them, or community areas where we can help them look for a potential location. Or sometimes they offer it to us, and if they offer it to us, then we work together with the franchise owner to do oculars to see, is it really a good area for them to come into. In terms of franchise management, we can take control of the whole process, of getting the permits. So it can be like build, operate, transfer, right? So the easiest one is that, for example, for the OFW, they go, okay, I won't be home in 2 to 3 years. Can you run it for me in my absence? Yeah, we can. So it can go all the way from securing the venue to the fit out, to running it day to day, to submitting the reports to you while you're abroad. And when you come home, you can choose to say, no, you know what, I think it's good now. You can, I'll take over, or we can continue to run it for them. So it can be a full package, and the price of the franchise management really depends on the size of the franchise as well that they're securing.
So are these just for the brick and mortar franchise, or even the e-commerce?
The e-commerce usually they're lower in value, and what we see it's something that you run out of your own home. That's
yeah,
usually
so parang DIY.
Yeah, so those type are really more run by the person who actually looks for the franchise.
Okay, so in terms of training naman, RJ, like if I want to put up my own franchise, do I have to attend like some training?
The training is there's training, and there's different trainings which are offered by the franchise owner. Okay. So it really depends. And again, it depends on what level of involvement the franchisee wants to do. Let's say that he's based here and he wants to run it, then yes, of course, feel free to attend all the sessions. Or if it says, Easy Franchise, please do it for us. We're the ones who attend the lecture for them, and we're the ones who understand what's happening. And of course, we feed back to the franchisee owner. So that's whether we can do it, whether it's for a locally based franchisee owner or a OFW based franchisee owner.
Okay, so a lot of these people, no, they're looking for extra sources of income. So have you seen like a particular kind of person that fits a description of a franchisee? So I don't know, like if there's a particular or such a thing.
There's no particular description, but I think the more important thing I see is that there's an entrepreneurial attitude to the owner. I mean, they want something, they want to get something, they want something more, and then but they're a bit nervous about getting into business on their own, because usually, the big question people ask is that should I start my own business, or should I just get a franchise? And they're both great questions, and they're both legitimate. I mean, for me, I am a business owner and I put up my own business, but I also thought it's a good idea to put up this business for people who want franchise, because let's say, for example, you're a first time, you're working here, you have a job here in Makati or Metro Manila, you've made ipon a bit of money and you want to run a business but you're not sure, so you try a franchise just to see how it goes. Why do you try it out? Because it's like sort of like it puts you through the ropes. It runs you through finance, marketing, operations, sales. There's a manual, so you get to learn how to do business. Then maybe when your contract is done with that franchise, your option is that, okay, I can renew it, I can buy another franchise to add to it, or I can put up my own business, not copying the franchise, not copying the franchise, of course, but you're learning some principles of doing business, which you've gained from doing it. So it's sort of like you're on the job training when you get a franchise and you want to put up your own business. So I often see some people with that sort of entrepreneurial attitude, where they want to, maybe because they want to diversify their income, so they put it in different things. But franchising can be a more involved business than just investing in stocks or bonds or in passive real estate. So it's to each his own, diba? His level of involvement that he wants, the level of investment he wants coming back to him. That's what you really look at when you get a franchise.
Yeah, and I love how Easy Franchise does it, because you give them a choice. You give them an option of like what kind of involvement they really want. No? So for the really DIY ones, they can get the e-commerce or even like do it themselves if they already have backgrounds in business. No? But for those who are starting new, you're there to hold their hands. Diba? You're there to sort of like show them the ropes. Yeah, I love it. So, sige, for my last question, RJ, no? So I know you've seen a lot of people who got a franchise, and what are your tips for those who are new to this, like who aspire to be a franchisee of a franchisor?
Well, the most important thing again in the end is that take a look at different franchises. Take a look at which ones you find the most important. I mean, sometimes you mean a dental franchise might be good, a pet store, a pet spa or pet clinic might be something really great. But is that something that you like and that you can run on the longer term? But that's one of the first things that I ask. Number two, start setting aside some money. We ask people, what are you going to set aside a third of your income every month that you want to put behind the franchise? That's great. Remember, you're not spending your money. It should be money that doesn't impact your daily or your monthly expenditures.
Your expenses.
Your lifestyle, you're taking away from your tuition fee for your kids. Not something that I want to think about. No.
Yeah.
And the other thing also as well is that you reapply that entrepreneurial mindset. And when I say entrepreneurial mindset, it just means that you're solving pain points, diba? When you as an entrepreneur, my job is to solve pain points. Now, if you're going to get a franchise, then your job also is, okay, if I get a franchise, what pain point is my franchise trying to solve in the location where I want to put it at? I think that's a bigger thing, because of course everybody wants a potato corner, diba? It's hard to get a potato corner franchise right now because everybody wants one.
True.
So if you've got a specific location in mind, then choose what franchise do you think might be missing there? It might not be sexy or popular. Like I said, LPG might not be sexy or popular, or water refilling, but it's necessary in a specific area, and you're solving a pain point for people in that area. That's what you want to take a look at when you're doing franchising, diba? That you choose a business that solves a particular pain point in an area. Now, on the flip side, Ginger, I also want to speak to the other people who are doing businesses here right now and want to turn their business into a franchise. If they think that they have the potential to make their business into a franchise, they can also consult with us. So what we can do is we can advise them, okay, is it a business that that has the potential to be franchised? What is franchisable about it? And if they do come to us, we can have them create the franchise manuals for that one, the franchise operations, and market it as a franchise as well, and provide the franchise management services which they need to grow that particular business.
Wow, so you do that as well. Okay,
Yes,
all right. That's good to know. That's good to know. One last question, which just popped out now. In terms of like the return of investment, return on investment for this, I'm sure people are asking and wondering, like, if I put this up, how long will it take me? So, do you have like an average time?
So also when you go to the Easy Franchise site, there's actually the return on investment.
Oh wow!
Different types of projects or franchise. Of course, they're all estimated. Like I say, it's business, diba? You always take a risk when it comes to business. More or less, these are the returns on investment that you make for different projects that you get into. But I mean, having said that, everything's a risk. But sometimes you've got to just try doing business. Maybe you can start small. Okay, maybe start off with a small card type franchise, just to see if it works, just to see if you understand it. Then you move up from there. But also, if you think about it this way, if I'm going to spend time there anyway, it's the same amount of time if you get a small franchise or a bigger franchise. Might as well get a bigger one.
Yeah, that's true.
Just so that it's worth your time to put into, worth your effort that you put into it. Also, we have a special feature on our Easy Franchise website called the Match Me. So sometimes it'll match you based on, okay, this is my budget, this is my interest, this is where I live, and then it'll pop out some particular or some choices which you might prefer.
Yeah, I actually tried that. It was an interesting feature. So you can actually choose like what your budget is, no, and then like all of these things, suggestions pop out. So, RJ, do you want to invite them? Maybe share the links and the social media accounts of Easy Franchise.
Yeah, so please drop by easyfranchise.com or also the Easy Franchise Facebook page. We also have an Easy Franchise Facebook community. You're more than welcome to drop by. Then you can ask questions there about, what franchise some people, what's working for them, what's not working for them, what do they find that they like. And it's good to take time out to figure this out, no? Especially if you're starting off in business. Don't delay that decision, make the decision now just because you want to learn. I mean, like me, my bias towards action now, we put this startup up 2 years ago. Now it's doing pretty good. We made a lot of mistakes along the way, but we learned. It's same thing for franchise. You get one, you're gonna make some mistakes. That's for sure. But think about it this way. In the franchise business now, it's sort of like you're playing for a basketball team, which means that your coach is the franchisor. and you're the basketball, and you're one of the players on that team. So, you can have your own moves, diba? But the thing is, the coach has to be the one to direct you to winning the game, diba? So may konting diskarte ka. Hindi naman full diskarte because we don't work as a team, you're not gonna win.
True. Yes, I love that analogy, RJ. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. I'll leave all of the links to what RJ mentioned to Easy Franchise in the comment section below. So, yeah, please share the word, spread the word about Easy Franchise. I think this is a good opportunity for a lot of people if you want to start your own business this 2021. So this is the year to start and learn, like as what RJ mentioned. You have to start learning already, make mistakes quickly, and then iterate, and then yeah, eventually you'll grow to be a successful entrepreneur. So thank
And
you
get
again.
Taxumo to do your taxes.
Yes. Plus that. So thank you again, RJ. I miss talking to you and sharing like insights and
Likewise,
information.
likewise. God bless you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.